Ooh, all right.
All
Oh,
right.
we're recording in progress. Yes, finally,
Nice.
we can get it on record here. Yes, that you
Sweet.
are actually not Juan R. Leon, but you are Johnny Lionel III
There you
from
go.
Northampton's
Of Greek descendants.
Greek descendants. Greek, yes, the
Greek
Greek
and German. Johann Leonidas.
Johann Leonidas. Yes. Um, I haven't. I don't think I've talked to you since you had your heart attack.
Was it a heart attack?
I don't know. Something happened, right? Something
No, I
happened,
went in the hospital. I was on vacation and wasn't feeling good. And next thing
right?
you know, I'm in the hospital and they're yanking out my appendix.
Oh, it was the appendix exploded. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry about that.
yeah, and when they yanked it out, like came back a few days later with the biopsy and all that stuff, and they said, "Hey, it's a good thing we got it out of there because we found cancer in your appendix."
Oh, he let
And
you
it was
go.
like, yeah, like pre whatever. It was in the incipient stages, and they said they got it all when they yanked out the appendix. If the appendix would have burst, or if it would have not given me any issues by the time they would have detected the cancer, I guess it would have been a little too late because I guess it's pretty difficult to work on the appendix when it's got cancer in it. So
Okay,
dodged a bullet or an arrow or whatever you want to say
your
there.
choice. Your choice. You can have it either way you want. Um,
Yeah.
that sounds vaguely familiar. I kind of remember some of that. Things are never
But I
sort of
was yeah,
in one
but I was
place.
in the hospital for high blood pressure too. So it's yeah,
Yeah, it's been a while.
it's
It's been a while since.
yeah, yeah,
But
totally.
the thing is, we've known each other since what, junior high?
Yeah, since like 1979, 78. Been a while.
Warriors come out and play. Warriors.
Let me see. I got something here.
All right, what you got?
I was
How you
trying to
doing?
get the. I was trying to get the little warriors. The little sound here for the
Wizard, you will not
warriors.
defeat me with your magic.
Oh, by the way,
Yes.
this is sand
Yes.
and crystals from Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, well, I could pound that into your ass anytime you want.
There you go. That's
I,
that's
I
what
was
it's
there in
for.
October. Yeah. You know,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah. That's uh,
Getting
that's
getting
actually
a
the
little.
the first time I saw a UFO was in New Mexico.
When did are you talking UFO, or did you see
UFO,
one?
UFO. Yeah, yeah. Probably I was in the fourth or fifth grade. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. A big white flying disc, and we were huddled into a cave, and it was a very sort of terrifying experience. So
Huh.
yeah, yeah.
I never knew this story.
Oh, I think we talked about it. We must have mentioned something about that at
Was
one
this
time.
pre? Was this pre or post like drugs?
Well, I don't know. I was a child, so I don't know what drugs I
Oh
was on then.
no, I meant the discussion. I meant the discussion, not when
Between
you saw
us,
it.
oh shit,
Yes,
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
could have been during. I don't know.
It could be happening now for all I
Could have been up on the mesa in that trailer.
know. That, there you
The
go.
night you the night you told me that you ran over my sister's dog.
Oh man. Oh, now it's your sister's dog. Oh, you know how to get me. You know how to get me. You know I have a
It
fragile
was my
heart, man. It,
it
it
was
used
my
to be you ran
sister's.
over my dog for many years,
Yeah,
and I fucking apologized for it 10,000 times over.
and then my dad
And
gave you a bunch of
now,
shit. Yeah,
now he knows that I love Mole, and he hits me with it's his sister's dog. Oh, jeez, I'll never live this down.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
No
My
wonder I'm
my
in hell.
dad. And every time you went to the house, my dad gave you shit about the dog just messing with you.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember that
Oh,
at
I do. I
all.
remember you coming over once and my dad looking at you, and because you spoke a little Spanish, and my dad would say, I remember my dad saying to you in Spanish once, so tú mataste a mi perro, and then you looked at me like you told him, and
Okay.
my dad just laughed and gave you a hug.
Maybe.
Yes.
But why is it he wasn't wearing a shirt? No, I'm
Se- Sexy Latin vibes, I
kidding.
say. I don't know. He's part native, so
Well,
could
why not?
afford him.
Of course. No, okay. So let's back it up. Let's see. Let me clarify for anybody who gives a damn that I didn't like purposely run over
No,
your
no.
sister's dog.
It would get very foggy in front of our house because of the park across the street. It was always watered at night, plus nature. And you had that freaking big Hummer before Hummers were the thing to have. John had a Hummer, a real Hummer in that nasty ass, safety line yellow. And he was driving it to work, and we had a dog, and I don't remember the dog's name.
Maybe you should
I think
ask your
Juan.
sister.
I think
Why don't
his
you
name
ask your
was
sister
well,
what the
it
dog's
was
name was, since it was your
probably.
sister's
I
dog
think
all of a sudden?
it was probably Fluffy because he was fluffy. He was flat after you got him
No, I remember Fluffy. It wasn't Fluffy.
So it was another one. So anyway, and
It was
it was
early in the
foggy,
morning.
early in the
This,
morning.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was. We used to have to go and open up the radio station like what
Yep.
5 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
Turn the transmitters on, that kind of nonsense. And so I started working there. Geez, I think probably at 13 years old. And I think you came on board like what, after high school or before the
Right
last year?
after. It's
After, okay,
85 after we graduated.
yeah. Let's see. We met in junior high. Like we said,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember whose class we had in junior high. Oh,
Was
I
it
know.
Chivos?
Yeah, well, of course we had Mr. Roll, of course, yeah, our English teacher who didn't
Yeah.
do anything except play cassette tapes of old lectures
Yeah.
and fucking I fuck you all the way around the room if you looked at him wrong.
And I remember Grandma and the Buffalo Chips.
Yeah,
Remember that?
something like that.
And then we came in one day and he was playing German, accordion music,
Yeah, yeah,
and I called bullshit because I said no, that's Mexican corrido music, and then he called bullshit, and then I was given a lesson in where the accordion came from, and part of me died that day.
yeah. Of course. Well, that's how you turn chicha into beer. Is you bring the Germans over and then you have them
That's right.
give you. Dum, bum, 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 bum.
Chicha, chicha.
Yeah. What?
That's a deep dive. I like that.
I
That's
told you, wizard. You will
it's
not pass here. Okay.
thou shalt not pass.
Look at all these portals behind me reflecting back.
Oh yeah,
See, you can't get through.
like it.
All
I
right.
like it. I like the
I
color
am
of your
happy to
walls there.
see.
What is that? What
What's
color
that?
is that?
What's
What's
what?
the
What's
color of your walls? Of your walls there.
I don't know.
Looks like
It's
some
maybe this
pine.
about the same color as my balls. I think about this point.
Maybe
Uh,
green.
very aqua, very blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's very bohemian. Yes.
Yes.
Bohemian upstairs and El Black Dungeono downstairs. I don't know.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, for sure. And so yeah, I guess you're in your studio there. That you've been
Well,
posting a lot of stuff about Pro Tools and a whole bunch of other things that you know. I said you're obviously you learned yet another skill to master in the musical realm. Um, so I
trying.
do have a message from the guy at the crossroad that you sold your soul to. So he wanted to say, hey, interest is coming up here, so you gotta make it.
You gotta pay the ferryman soon. Yeah, actually, my studio's set up. What you see behind me is actually over that way. But because I couldn't rearrange my room to get all that in the background, I took a picture of it and I made it my background. That's why you get all these weird little artifacts if I move
Well,
too fast.
as I was deep diving some of your content and realizing that there's also a visual component because you are also one of the most amazing artists that I've heard of, by pencil and pen and everything else.
Well,
And
thank
then I
you.
didn't realize that a lot of the artwork is also your own when you're doing your own stuff for yourself and your other projects. And I would say between the guitar thing in the back there and what I saw in the photos, yeah, it's definitely very phallic for sure. Yeah, lots of
Oh,
erect
it's all
penises.
phallic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Exactly.
still got the dick devil in you, so which is it's strange because you've got you're like 6'8", and I think you're, as I remember correctly, your python is rumored to be somewhat of a magnificent size. Is this true?
You you flatter me, sir. Thank you, flatter me.
I almost got you. I almost got you. He almost broke. I've almost got it once or twice.
There's very, very few men that saw me in my underwear on a frequent basis.
Okay.
You and Tyler.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We shared a house at one time. The worst thing that could have ever happened to the three of us in any sense of the word.
Yeah, when you say like the planets aligned, people are looking forward to it. No, that's the planets aligned then, and it was a horrible thing. Some rift in the in the universe happened.
Time space continuum. Yes,
yeah,
of course, always. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Well, oddly enough, you guys should get a hint of the lunar eclipse tonight. Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah, you guys you're Eastern Seaboard, so you should get it. Yeah,
we should.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, we will see fuck all here because it's still cloudy and whatever else. So
where you at? Are you still in China?
I wish. No, don't. I wish. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. No. I'm in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm over
You're back on the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm over the river, the border from Portland, Oregon.
Are you okay? That you smell toast? You had something happen there? It sounded like you were having a mini seizure when you said what? What the hell did you say? What was that word you said?
No, I was speaking in tongues. I was trying to whip out some more Wookiee for you. I was actually, I was kind of rewinding in a moment in my mind, thinking about the idea of us in some of the classes. I had to think about that when our one of our teachers passed away recently, Mr. Weedy, right? Mm-hmm. But remember, his wife used to teach us as well.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And do you remember? Speaking of like decor, you remember what was up above us? We must have put in hundreds of pencils in that acoustic ceiling.
That's true.
I mean, it was bad. It looked like it was it became like to the point where they just didn't give a fuck anymore. They said, all right, little fucking bastards are not going to stop. And we just kept flipping pens. We'd have them we'd like purposely, even before class, plotting, sharpening different fucking lengths of number 2 pencils to cut, flip on a desk and stick in an acoustic tile. Oh my God.
I do remember that. I do remember that now.
Yep.
Yes. Crazy stuff.
And then we got into our art class with I can't think of the guy's name, Mr. Reyes, right?
Mr. Reyna.
Mr. Reyna, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Reyna. He was cool.
Yeah. He let us get down, and then we got the Star Wars fever thing, of course.
Oh, totally. He was cool. He was he drove around that Mustang Mach 3, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Big old freaking honking thing. That thing was cool. He was a good artist, man. That guy was a hell of an artist, man.
Yeah.
Good artist.
We're lucky. We've had some pretty good teachers in the middle of fucking nowhere. If you think about someone like Mr. Reyna, and then of course, when we got Spoonie, that was a big game changer for us as Band Geek Mafia.
My sister still keeps in touch with him.
What?
Yeah, she. Well, I don't know if he's still around or not, but I know for a while there she would let me know. Hey, man, Spoonie says hi. I guess she would talk to him every once in a while.
So what? Why is he talking to her? I guess he likes Mole too, huh?
Yeah. Either that or she's going after his diminutive husband.
There you go. Could be. The inside joke, of course, is Juan being a gentle giant, and of course all his goofy white boy friends, going gaga and simping hard for his sister, who is like the sweetest, nicest person ever, who put up with all this. How your family put up with all that fucking shenanigans anyway, over the years, I'm surprised. And then living together, not good.
No.
for sure.
Well, my parents were goofballs. My mom was a goofball.
Uh,
She she was always, like I would play really what some people I guess would consider horrific jokes on my mom. And
yeah,
and and
yeah.
and at first she'd be shocked, and then she'd laugh and stuff, and then she told me stories about my grandmother who I never met, how my grandmother would like to hide in the closet or somewhere in the house and wait for my grandfather to get home from work and then jump out and scare the shit out of him. And I said, well, how did Grandpa take it? He goes, oh, he didn't like that shit at all. He would be pissed, and you could hear him yelling in the house, "Ay, mujer," and stuff. And I was like, what's funny is I like to hide and scare people at work all the time.
Oh yeah,
Not so much, not so much anymore because everybody's older, and I'm gonna end up giving someone a heart attack. But
yeah.
man, I scared the crap out of one of the workers the other day. I work in a theme park, as you know, and she's working on we're showing her how to a fix that we have to do on one of the attractions, and so I'm underneath it, and I'm looking at everything from underneath it. She's on the scaffold above us, and this girl does not scare easy. I try to scare her all the time, and she just turns around and looks at me. She goes, really, Juan? I'm tired of your shit. And so this time I just happened to stick my hand up between what the thing she was going to be working on, which was a slide and the scaffolding, and I stuck my hand up and I went, and she freaking, ah, shit. And it's like, I really got you? And she goes, yes, you asshole. It's like, I don't know. But,
Oh man.
man.
Well, we used to prank the shit out of each other when we worked at the radio station.
Oh,
Um,
man. Yeah.
we were bad. We were so bad. God,
I
we were
think
terrible.
some of the best pranks was when you told me, and I think we were in seventh grade,
Oh
you
God.
told me that your mom was dead.
Oh
And
no,
we,
no, that was oh no, not seventh grade.
well,
Like
it
ninth
was, we were
grade.
young.
Ninth
Ninth
grade.
grade,
Ninth
yes.
grade.
And I believed it for many years. And then until when we were living together and you told me that you were going to Texas to go see your mom. And I looked at you, I'm like, you're like your stepmom? You're like, no, my mom. And you'd forgotten you told me your mom was dead. And I'm like, what do you mean? You told me your mom was dead. And you're like, I never told you that. I'm like, yes, yeah, you did. And then it dawned on you that you told me, and you're like, oh, yeah, I did. And it was like, this son of a bitch. And that's when I concocted the idea about dad selling weed out of the house and the pasafrajo and everything. And was, vengeance was mine.
You think so?
I
You
don't
think
know.
so?
I
Well, let's see here what we have in the box down below. uh, it's okay to revisit the past for nostalgia, just because past times become the past times for sure.
Yeah,
All
totally.
right, so going back to the technical aspect here of the phallic guitars in the studio and so on, working at a theme park, but doing a lot of you're doing a lot more production now than you used to, right? In your own studio, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of been writing a lot of ambient stuff using textures, recorded sounds that I'll use I have a little digital record and I'll record sounds and I'll manipulate them and use the sounds as compositions. Download some of the sounds onto the computer and use a keyboard controller to control them and the pitches and everything and turn them into musical sound. I mean, it's sound. Music is sound anyway, whether it's a finely tuned multi-thousand-dollar instrument or someone throwing a rock against the wall. It's sound. So I figured,
Why do you got to make fun of my musical skill? That's not. I mean, you're just kicking the shit out of me now.
no,
You're just
no,
kicking me when I'm down.
I just legitimized your skill. But I don't know. I was just kind of. It all started with a friend of mine who is an incredibly talented person, very funny. You would love him. His name is Brendan. It's a guy I work with, and years ago, he's really into the Halloween haunts and stuff, and Halloween horror nights that we have. And he's talked about, we got all this music and all these sound effects for these haunted houses. And I said the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that they put a musical soundtrack in a haunted house. To me, that takes me out of it. If you want to scare me, put in sounds that'll put me on the edge, not a soundtrack that's not what happens in real life. That's a movie. I'm not in a movie. You're supposed to be throwing me into an experience. I understand the whole immersive aspect of it, but to me, the music is not immersive when you're supposed to be in a live environment. So he said, well, then why don't you do something about it? And I said, all right. That's when I started doing these field recording things and making these recordings called emotional response sound experiments. So I
Mm-hmm.
did about an hour and a half's worth of this stuff, and I gave him a CD, and he's listening to it. And from the moment he put his earphones on, he looked at me and he goes, "Oh my gosh, this is it! This is what we're talking about." So I decided to start doing it for myself, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually that first collection of works got put on a there's this online ambient station called Nightscaping, and a guy picked up on it. And he said, "I'm going to debut this whole thing online." And it was weird because all of mostly their ambient stuff was a lot of synthesizer textures and pads and stuff like that, kind of like relaxing and theta waves and all that stuff. And here comes my stuff with like sheep and shovels clanging against the wall, and the sound of stuff falling down the stairs that's been time stretched to sound like music, and he played the whole thing and it got a great response. So
That's awesome.
started doing that
Um,
stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there because I wanted to catch a couple of screen caps while I'm talking to you, and then of course you get hypnotized by like the where you catch the screen cap. Like it's like okay, let's go. Um, Listening in one ear and thinking about the other idea. I've always attributed a big turning point for you and uh, I think in music and production. We have to give it up to Billy Benight, man.
Dude, I think about that guy very much often. So, and I think about with these
What did he
recordings
what did he teach us that night? He taught us how to
that
fucking loop reel to reel.
yeah, loop reel to reel, and I remember him. So this is a trip. He remember when I forget what he had, and he's banging on the spring on the microphone stand.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So that was the very first thing that I recorded for these ambient sound
Yeah, you
effects.
remember
Was
that?
a
Yeah.
mic. Yeah, I went and I grabbed a bowl and I did that, and I remembered Billy Benight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he's a photographer
Oh
now,
yeah,
or
yeah,
he's doing
yeah.
stuff
He's a
online. Yeah,
Hollywood. I don't want to say paparazzi because it sounds
right.
skeevy, but no, he's
Yeah,
yeah, he's well published in all the services and so forth.
yeah,
Does all
good
the
for
red
him.
carpet.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, but he's always been like in that stratosphere. Remember, you know,
totally.
when he came back and just totally turned everything upside down in a short period of time, and then he left, and the next
Yeah,
thing you know,
yeah,
he's like on the in Rip magazine and some other
yeah.
stuff that we were
I
like,
remember that. I
yeah,
remember he was in Rip magazine. He was at some club somewhere
yeah,
in LA or
yeah,
something, and I think he was wearing a relaxed shirt, and his
yeah.
hair was all crazy looking, kind of looking like a cross between Johnny Lydon and what was that freaking Australian or New Zealand actor that did that movie, Young Einstein? What the frick
Oh
is
yeah,
his
yeah,
name?
yeah, yeah. I know
I
you could.
forget his name.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's what he looked like.
yeah. He did.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. Yeah, sort of. But the thing
yeah,
is, he actually was actually taller than you, right?
yeah, he was like 2 or 3 inches taller. He was a big guy, tall,
Yeah, because
real thin,
what
tall. Yeah,
you're what 6'2", 6'3",
6'4".
6'4". So he'd
Yeah,
be
six
he'd
eight,
be
6'8" in heels.
yeah. Well, same thing for him, I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah,
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 yeah. He was definitely like some sort of like one of those like Greek demigods that come down and like some sort of trickster god or whatever else that
mm-hmm.
you know gives you a little sprinkle of something and says, "Well, try it this way." And you're like,
Oh,
"Damn, that's
totally.
pretty cool." Yes.
He's I've met similar characters since then, but they were almost to the point to where it was silly.
Sure.
Where Billy was, yeah, he was out there, and a lot of people could have taken him and just passed him off as some the guy's fucked in the head. But I never looked at him that way. I always kind of thought, I don't know what train this guy's on or what plane he's getting ready to ride, but I want a ticket.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Pretty
Because
much.
he had that vibe, and
Yeah. Pretty much.
from what I remember, he was a really nice guy. He's
Yes.
just,
Yes.
he was very inviting. He's like, hey, look, my world's kind of weird, but I want you to check it out because I think
Yeah.
you'll fit in.
Yeah.
So yeah, he
Yeah.
was a trip.
He was
I
one.
love
Yeah,
him.
definitely. For a town of like 10,000 people, amazing.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that.
totally.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. And then of course, you can't connect the dots without who else? Garth, right?
Garth, of course, Mr. Garth. I still catch him once in a while online. That guy was another one of my heroes, but a really, really good friend. That guy had a heart the size of the universe, and and a record collection to go with it.
Yeah, which he built and rebuilt many times because he
Oh
just like,
yeah.
I'm done with it. Here, take it,
Well,
or just go throw it away or whatever else.
well,
So
what's a trip is his legacy lives on, because I know you ended up with some of those records. I ended up with some of those records, and now my son has some of those records because of you.
the cassettes. No, it's the
Yeah,
cassettes,
yeah,
man.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Before I left for China, there were some cassettes with some of his hand drawn art
yeah,
of like his sort of Ray Pettibone
yeah,
meets
yeah,
I don't know, I can't think of what like who else, maybe Pusshead
yeah, yeah.
style kind of drawings of whatever else. I remember meeting, yeah, I saw your son when he was a kid, of course, but then when I went to the coast in Oregon when he was living out there before I left to China, to give him a bunch of cassettes, and I had a bunch of stuff from my radio show, whatever else. And I thought, well, okay, let's see if we can shuffle some cards for this dude, right? So I don't know if that helped or hurt in that case.
No, it helped. I remember when that happened because it was a few days later. Peggy called me up, and she's like, "Hey, I think John Galloway went to visit Michael at his workplace." I'm like, "Really?" And I knew you were going to, or you had been talking about it.
Yeah, sure.
And I go, "Why do you say that?" She goes, "Well, he came home with a box of stuff and was saying that some guy named Rocco stopped by and dropped his stuff off." And then she's like, "What?" And you said he knew you and knew all these people, and started describing him. And she's like, "The only person I can think that would be John." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." I said, he was taken off to China, and he said he was going to try to find my son and give him a bunch of stuff." But he was ecstatic about it. He still like talks about that. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's
well, I think he ended up moving to Eugene at one time. So
yeah, he was at
yeah,
Eugene going to school, and then dude, this kid in a matter of 4 years ended up, after Eugene, he ended up going to Wyoming, South Dakota, Montana, and just going all these places, just exploring. And then now he's in Fort Collins, Colorado. Him and his girlfriend. He's working from home, loving it, chill. So he's doing good, man. He's taller than me.
that's hard to believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
mestizo Mike, as they used to say. Yeah,
Little mestizo Mike.
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's so funny you mentioned his mom because I was kind of thinking about her mom, who
Yeah,
got really
yeah.
pissed off at me because I was wearing a bad boy Trojan condom shirt, and that somehow was very offensive. I'm like, we fucking sell condoms here at the convenience store, so I'm
Hey,
doing free advertising at this point.
yeah.
Back in the day, Bad Boy used to have these different sort of.
Yep.
It's just hilarious that it would be offensive. But now look at where we're at. They're going to get rid of condoms. They're going to get rid of
I know, man.
women's right to choose. I mean, what the hell,
Oh,
man?
it's
And
so
and,
freaking
and have you been
bizarre.
following this nonsense from the with the burial sites at the schools?
Oh yeah, I've been. A lot of people at work know about it because of me, and yeah, it's a big. It's. There's a buddy of mine that I hang out with at work. He's a politically polar opposites than myself, but we have intelligent discussions. We can have a good discourse, and it's not stupid yelling matches and stuff. So, and we talk about, not that that school thing is ever Democrat versus Republican or whatever kind of thing, but we have discussions about it, and how we just see the numbers that keep rising and rising of the bodies that they're finding. And now that they're doing the deep dive investigations here in the United States into it, and seeing that there is, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of kids, and not only that, finding evidence that it was very much a purposeful, systematic way of getting either the indigenous people to assimilate 100%, or assimilate or die, basically. And that's exactly what it was. And my wife was saying, I know that it's, people have a sense of pride in their country, so they're always that'll never happen here. That could not have happened here. It happens everywhere, but it happened here. We're just really good at covering up,
Oh yeah,
you
well of
know.
course, yeah.
We
It's
have a big thick rug that we like to sweep everything underneath, and a lot of times that rug says the past on it, and that's supposed to make it okay. Well,
sure,
that
sure,
happened in the past. I'm like, it
sure,
doesn't matter if it happened in the past or if it happened yesterday or right now. It's atrocious and horrific, and it's wrong. And
sure.
this country, you got countries like New Zealand and Australia who have come out publicly for what it's worth, whatever it's worth, and acknowledged the horrors that were committed against their indigenous people. And in some instances, they even were able to give back land or money or whatever they were able to do. This country's never done that. This country's never even uttered maybe we did that. They've never done that. It's never happened
Well,
here.
when
You
you look at other sort of online creators, like in some of the different platforms, especially now that it's been a really great way to amplify indigenous
Mm-hmm.
voices, and then
Right.
also not just sort of being isolated in the regional area, but now sort of what used to be kind of like, you could get on a powwow circuit is now, live and electric, brother. I mean, you
Yeah.
can
Oh,
connect
totally.
with people in the northern provinces, or in the central plains, or
Mm-hmm.
down south where you want, and then across the globe. And it's that
Yeah.
shit's
Yeah.
on fire, man.
Totally. And the way I look at it, you don't have to wait on an apology or wait on acknowledgement to move forward on anything, especially with something like this. You're right. With the media the way it is, the media has been used in the past to kind of throw a lot of this history under that rug. Well, fuck it. Turn around. Let's use the media now and get rid of the rug.
Exactly.
It's
Like fucking
it's
Aladdin. I'm gonna sail that motherfucker all the way out. Um,
exactly, man.
Straight up. Yeah. I had a speaking of other indigenous creators, I was thinking about this aspect of I saw this cat the other day. I think he calls himself Soup Man.
Oh, soup man.
And so I was
Soup.
thinking about, yeah, that whole bit we had about Soup Man and Carafe Man.
Carafe man.
Yeah.
I forgot
I
about
mean,
carafe.
yeah,
Salt and pepper man.
yeah. The truth is, we would get so far out in the astral realms. I kind of remember that we had long conversations in the Muppet,
Mm-hmm.
and it was absolutely sufficient. We used
Oh,
telekinesis at that
totally.
time.
Oh yeah, yeah, that and we also had yeah. Oh God, I remember. This is one of my fondest memories of hanging out with you
Oh no!
when we were out in Palm Springs. I don't even know why we were
Oh
out
God!
there.
No! 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 No!
I think we were out visiting Darla or something. You and
Please
Darla,
protect the
and
names of the innocent and let them bleep it out.
and then we ended up in the desert somewhere at a bonfire party,
Yes!
as
Yes!
most desert
Yes!
rats are prone to do.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And we're out there, and the music's cranking, and
Yes!
other than the fire, we're dancing around. Next thing I know, my host here drops his pants and decides to just kind of dance around the fire half naked. And this creepy dude
No, wait a second.
who's
Wait,
out
wait, wait, wait.
there.
Whoa, wait. This is
Yeah,
you're leaving out
no,
the other
wasn't
parts
there
here.
what am I
Is
leaving
that
out?
everybody
Yeah,
became
that's true. It was
naked
all
as
of
the
us.
fire died down. That was the idea, right?
Yes,
Like how
that's right.
people felt
It was
comfortable.
all of us.
So it got
You're
started
right.
getting darker. Remember?
Yes,
Right.
and
Okay.
yes,
And
that's right.
so a
And
group of people. It was half boys, half girls, and the typical thing
yeah,
that you do, to try to fool around is go skinny
yeah,
dipping, or
right,
dance
right.
naked under the moon. Right. Okay.
Except there's no water. We're in the desert.
And then no water. It was in the middle yeah, it was
Yeah,
in the middle of the
and
desert, sort of north of Palm Springs.
right,
And
and
as it got darker, don't forget there was a huge ass meteor asteroid that came over the skyline.
yes,
Remember?
that's right. Oh, that's right. That's
Exactly.
right.
Right. And so then we're like, oh, and it was like almost like it flashed like a bomb when it hit the
Yeah, yeah,
horizon. And we're like, well, maybe it's the end of the world. And so that was the other
yeah.
goat was like, that's the end of the world. Well, might as well take your clothes
Might as
off.
well
So
get
yes,
naked and dance.
we were dancing in a no moon circumstance, and so it was pretty dark.
Yes.
And 12 of us, and as we were kind of going around the circle, I couldn't even tell you what we were dancing to. It was couldn't have been anything great, but uh, I kind of know. I looked at you and I looked at him, and there was another dude with us that had his clothes on, right?
Yes, complete stranger just showed up
Complete
out of nowhere.
stranger,
We were
yes.
like,
And we were like, kind of like, we didn't know exactly what to do, right? And then the guy was like probably like 5'2",
yeah.
had glasses on, right?